Hey everybody, some gadget guy here. I think we're live. I can never tell on Google Plus Hangouts. I just wrapped up sorting through all of the T-Mobile Uncarrier 8 announcement, and thought I'd take to a live video real quick just to explain everything that went down, because this is something I'm really excited about. This is something I've been complaining about since we started introducing tiered data plans. Now, when I started with the smartphone, I started on Sprint. We had unlimited data, but then moving between the various carriers, it's always sort of bothered me in the back of my brain how carriers bill for data. So the relationship as it stands right now is, instead of varying the speeds, like with your home internet, you pay more for faster data transfers, usually not for caps. I know there are a lot of people out there that live in areas that Comcast has started slapping with caps, and that's bad, and we should definitely discourage that kind of home internet business. That's maybe a topic for another video. But for smartphones, every month your carrier sells you one of these. Now, this is a 4 GB flash drive. This is how they've determined that your bill should be handled and how they're going to make money off of your data usage. And so let's say you use more than 4 GB of data. They're perfectly happy to sell you additional data at a higher rate. Now, every carrier has different tiers and rates, so we can cover that in another video as well. But let's say you only use half of this. Let's say you only use 2 GB of data. Well, they're going to take what's remaining, because you paid for all of it. You paid for a 4 GB chunk of data, a little bucket of data. But they're going to take that last 2 GB that you paid for, they're going to take it away from you, you're going to throw it away. And then when the next month starts, you get a fresh, clean, new bucket of data for you to play with. And that's always really bugged me. If they're going to charge you more if they're going to charge you more for data that you use on top of your bucket, how come you don't get any break when you don't use all of your data? When you only use a 2 GB flash drive instead of a 4 GB flash drive worth of data. So that's always just really bugged the heck out of me. So the T-Mobile Uncarrier 8 announcement dropped today. They're introducing something called Stash, their data stash. And this is going to be phenomenal. It's such a small thing, but I think it's going to make a huge impact on how people use their devices. Basically, data stash is rollover data. So when you only use 2 GB of your monthly allotment, I just threw my flash drive. That remaining 2 GB, I don't have a prop now. I don't know what to do with my hands. That remaining 2 GB of data is going to stay in a little online bucket for you to use whenever you maybe go over your data another month. And that to me is a phenomenal way to handle this notion of paying for data up front, but then maybe not using it all, or not, completely exhausting your supply. You should get some kind of benefit for it. Now, some people would say I'd rather have cash back in my account or my monthly bill be cheaper, but this is going to come to every single T-Mobile account starting in January of 2015. And actually, I'm going to pull up their little press release here, because I want to make sure, just to spell it all out. Starting in January 2015, Data Stash will be automatically available at no extra charge to every T-Mobile customer, every individual family and business with a post-paid simple choice plan who has purchased additional 4G LTE data, 3 GB or more for smartphones and 1 GB or more for tablets. And you'll start out with a free data stash with up to 10 GB of 4G LTE data. So that's the other important aspect of this whole announcement, is that they're going to start your account off with a 10 GB data stash. So it's not that you're going to start and you have to accrue your own data by not using data month to month. They're going to start it off with a bucket. So that first month, if you want, you can burn through an additional 10 gig all in that month. You just stream all the Netflix you want. Or you can kind of partition it out and let it spread. For me personally, because I typically don't hit my cap all that often, it'd be nice to kind of let it ride for those times. Like I've got CES coming up in January. That'd be huge, because then I'd be able to upload a ton of videos and not have to worry about whether or not I'm uploading over Wi-Fi or over LTE. I mean, that could be a really huge benefit to have that extra little chunk, that little bucket of data. Now, I'm really surprised that actually, I'm not totally surprised, but considering that the idea of rollover anything actually started with Singular before they were optioned by AT&T and bought out by AT&T, I always kind of thought that they might have been the first to introduce some kind of rollover data. They introduced rollover minutes back in the day when we had to pay per minute. These minute plans. Oh, I have like 800 minutes of talk time on my phone. Singular actually introduced rollover minutes. So at the end of the month, your additional talk time would get pushed forward into your next month's talk time. So hopefully this means that other carriers pick up that ball and run with it too. I would love to see this concept introduced at AT&T. I would love to see this concept introduced at Verizon. You know, especially these top twos, their data rates can be a little bit more expensive than some of the third place and fourth place carriers. So that's hopefully a sign in the right direction. And it also, maybe, fingers crossed, is an indication that soon, I mean soon relatively speaking, maybe in the next decade or so, that we're moving towards just returning to some kind of unlimited data. I know once we started doing tricky things with rollover minutes and different tiered pricing plans on talk time, we eventually just rolled over into unlimited talk time. That became like the next step. Well, if we're going to compete against rollover minutes, we're going to just give you unlimited minutes. How about that? And it would be really nice if we could get back to that with data. Just treating data as maybe more of the utility that we have for home internet. And if you want to charge us more depending on speed, like maybe you introduce an unlimited 3G plan and an unlimited 4G plan and an unlimited LTE plan, especially as we start moving into whatever our 5th and 6th generation networks are going to look like. That to me would be a huge benefit. And maybe this is the first step in that direction. I don't know. But anyway, if you're a customer on T-Mobile, definitely keep an eye out for your data stash, because it should drop on your plan coming in January. You'll have all kinds of more 4G LTE goodnesses to be able to play with. More GBs. Do you need more GBs? I want the one with more GBs. So folks, that's the T-Mobile data stash. I'll probably be doing a full write-up on somegadgetguy.com, just detailing all the points on the plan for those of you who would rather read about this stuff. I don't know why I would say that, because if you're watching this video, then you probably don't want to be reading about this stuff. As always, folks, thanks so much for watching my videos. Be sure to hit the subscribe button for more content like this. I'll probably be doing a little bit more talking head stuff in the future. I would not be able to continue producing these reviews if you all weren't out there sharing them with your family, friends, and on social media. So keep hitting that share button. It helps me out tremendously getting stuff set up. And I'll have some really exciting stuff coming up the end of the year and starting in January 2015. So definitely be on the lookout for some of my future videos. Hit that thumbs up button, and I will catch you all on the next video.